While the central narrative might be the draw for most video games, side quests are a major reason some players keep playing. Games like Skyrim offer meaningful side quests that players are more than happy to engage with, while games like Starfield and the Assassin's Creed franchise often provide quests and objectives that feel more like filler to pad out the runtime than anything truly worth playing. Side quests will always be an integral part of any open world experience, so developers should focus on making them exceptional. An open world needs engaging side quests and NPCs scattered throughout the map to keep players interested in exploring. There needs to be a reason to complete these quests, whether that's a reward at the end or a fantastic bit of narrative. Some of the most beloved open world games of all time feature tons of unforgettable side quests that stay with players long after the playthrough ends. In addition to its fantastic main story, there's plenty of fun and engaging content to enjoy in Ghost of Tsushima. There are branching side quests that introduce unique characters and dependable allies who come together to help rid Tsushima of the Mongol invaders by the end of the game. With enemy camps to raid, tons of collectibles to find, and an island full of beauty hiding around every corner, there's never a dull moment. Ghost of Tsushima's side quests can feel a bit repetitive at times, with no shortage of bandit camps and trailing missions. However, the stunning island of Tsushima just begging to be explored, and the satisfying yet challenging combat make everything worth doing. Some open-world games are known for filling their worlds with fluff that offers little substance and seems to just take up players' time. Ghost of Tsushima side content may not completely reinvent the wheel, but there's still hundreds of hours worth of fun to be had. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the most successful and beloved games of all time, and a big reason for that is how expansive it really is. There's something to do or discover around every corner of the map. The side quests offer some of the most interesting bits of gameplay and story that RDR2 has to offer. Players can do everything from robbing a train to hunting down a vampire in Saint Denis and never get bored. Completing side quests allows players to learn more about not only Arthur Morgan, but also the rest of the Vanderlyn gang. The map is also littered with collectibles and items for Arthur to find throughout his journey. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of those games players can spend hundreds of hours in and still not see everything it has to offer, and it's absolutely worth going back to. The original Marvel's Spider-Man gave players a majestic lived-in New York to explore with more than enough to do. But when the sequel was released, the map was even larger, with even more to experience. The streets of New York are absolutely littered with things to see and do, from stopping everyday burglaries to dealing with Mysterio's rogue holograms. There's always something that Peter Parker or Miles Morales have to take care of. While the side quests aren't always the most engaging parts of the game, some can be extremely interesting and emotional. There are more collectibles in Marvel's Spider-Man 2 than in both of the other games in the series, and they're always fun to collect because swinging around the city is such a good time. It's the perfect choice for any player looking for an exhilarating adventure with a compelling story and tons to do. Cyberpunk 2077 was released in 2020 by CDPR and takes action RPGs to a whole new level. When it first launched, it was hit with backlash for its buggy gameplay. Now, after several years of updates and the recent Phantom Liberty expansion, Cyberpunk 2077 is finally getting the recognition it deserves. When it comes to side quests, CD Projekt Red is king, and Cyberpunk 2077 is a great example of this. A Night City is unlike anything players have ever seen, filled to the brim with hundreds of hours of engaging side quests in the form of gigs to enjoy. There are more than a few intriguing people roaming the city, and they all want something from V. Luckily, most of it is actually worth doing and nets some sweet rewards. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and its predecessor have divided the fan base, with some players claiming they're the most realistic games they've ever played, and others arguing that the realism is just a believable illusion. While nobody can be sure what life was truly like in medieval times, Kingdom Come Deliverance and its sequel are among the most detailed and advanced role-playing games ever made. Like most great RPGs, both titles have an abundance of meaningful, narrative-driven side quests that stick with the player as much as the main story, if not more. The side content in both Kingdom Come Deliverance games is split into two main categories. Side quests are lengthy, story-based adventures that affect the surrounding world depending on the player's choices. Tasks are smaller, more controlled quests or simple problems to solve for an NPC. Hideo Kojima's passion project, Death Stranding, has been described as a walking simulator since of the game is spent transporting goods across a barren, post-apocalyptic United States. Side quests are accessed the same way as standard story missions, by accepting orders through security terminals spread across the map. Players can spend hundreds of hours completing the 540 orders featured in the director's cut of Death Stranding. The purpose of these secondary orders is to help strengthen the connections between delivery terminals and various facilities across the map. By completing them, players can also unlock upgrades and equipment that make traversing the world easier. Death Stranding was a controversial game, but it's developed a devoted fan base. Now curious to see how Death Stranding 2 on the beach, one of the most anticipated games of 2025, turns out. Like its predecessor, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom features a sprawling open world filled with tons of adventures for Link to embark on. However, Breath of the Wild caps out at 76 side quests, while Tatka has a whopping 139. Not to mention the absolutely ridiculous number of collectibles scattered across Hyrule. Fans were scarred by the Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild, and many weren't happy to see them return in the sequel. Both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are exceptional Legend of Zelda games, with an amazing amount of quests to take on. Both games feature dozens of shrines scattered throughout Hyrule for players to complete by solving puzzles or defeating enemies within. The side quests in these games might not be the best parts of the story, but they offer unique moments that fans of the series will appreciate. Tears of the Kingdom is the largest and most expansive Legend of Zelda game to date. Grand Theft Auto V has been going strong since 2013, and dedicated players are still finding ways to entertain themselves in the base game without even touching GTA Online. There aren't many open-world cities that can hold a candle to Los Santos, especially when it comes to the sheer number of things to do. The main quest line and post-game content may be where most of the fun comes from, but there are still plenty of good times to be had in the side missions. Players can rob armored trucks, go on rampages as the maniacal Trevor, and even rise through the ranks of various cults. Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the largest games of all time, and it has amassed a major following thanks in part to the massive amount of awesome side content. No game handles side quests better than CD Projekt Red's masterpiece, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Over the 10 years since its release, this open-world action RPG has been praised for its ingenious side quests that feel just as important and engaging as the central narrative. Players can lose themselves for hours simply because they can't walk away until they've uncovered all the secrets their current quest line holds. With its strong emphasis on narrative storytelling, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt completely changed the way the gaming industry approaches side quests. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt features some of the most remarkable side quests in gaming, including the Bloody Baron quest line, which is widely considered one of the greatest quests of all time. In typical RPG fashion, players can choose how to approach situations and what to say during dialogue sequences. The decisions made will directly affect the world and how people react to Geralt. The way From Software games handle side quests is a breath of fresh air, especially in Elden Ring. They don't feel like a giant checklist for players to mark off as they progress. In fact, there's really no way to keep track of side quests at all. There's no marker on the Elden Ring map showing where to find things, and no way to tell if the player's even heading in the right direction after starting a quest. This approach creates a sense of immersion not found in similar open-world games, and there's plenty of that in From Software's masterpiece. Some of the most fascinating secrets and lore in Elden Ring can be found in the side quests, not to mention some incredibly powerful items. Players must keep their eyes peeled while traversing the lands between, as there are tons of in-game documents that often guide them along in the side quests. Most of the NPCs players encounter will likely have something to do or a story to share.